Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Heidi from My Reading Life, and I'm here today to sort of wrap up the month of July and talk about where my TBR stands at this point. And I have 3 books to haul, so let's just get to it. I apologize if my eyes look funny. I don't know if it's allergies or what, but I put my contacts in this morning and it's not doing so great. So no, I'm not like ill, or I haven't been taking illegal substances or something like that. It's just allergies or contacts. I don't know. So let's just get to it. So in the month of July, I read 14 total books. So continuing my my streak here of reading just a tremendous amount each month. And obviously it's because coronavirus and not going anywhere and not having much of a social life. So it's been great for my reading in the last couple of months since I got my reading mojo back. So excited to have read 14 books in the month of July. 9 of those were nonfiction and 5 of those were fiction. So it was a very nonfiction heavy month. And that a lot of that was due to I was reading for the nonfiction side of the BookTube Prize in the semifinal round. And then there was the summer school readathon, which I had picked a bunch of nonfiction for my prompts for that. And the other main themed reading that I was doing at the beginning of the month was for Caribathon, which expanded in from June, but those were fiction books for the most part. Those were all fiction books, for Caribathon. So those were the 3 big themed reading topics that I was reading on in July. So very excited for 14 total books. None of them were more than 500 pages and none of them were translated. So already in the month of August, I'll just give you a little sneaky peek spoiler. I've already completed a book over 500 pages and I've already read 2 books in translation. So I'm doing better for those 2 things in the month of August already. So where does that leave us with this stuff, my TBR? So I read 4 books only off my own shelves. So I read a lot of stuff from Scribd and my library, just doing the BookTube Prize and other things. But 4 books off the shelf. I brought 3 books into my house, did not unhaul any. So that gives me a -1 for a total balance on my TBR of 138 books, which is down from 147 at the beginning of the year. So I'm going in the right direction. Slowly but surely going in the right direction. And really, for me, I feel it's a win if those numbers either stay the same or go down. It doesn't have to be by a lot. So I'm feeling really good about reading from my own books this year. So what books did I bring into my house? So the very first book that I brought in the month of July was this lovely book, The Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty. This is book 3 in the Devabad trilogy. This is the book that I just finished in the last couple of days, and it is well over 500 pages. I think it's 750 pages, actually. So this is a fantasy set in a sort of Middle Eastern type setting where a young girl in the beginning story who is a con artist and a thief in Cairo gets sucked into a magical world. She ends up calling up a jinn by mistake. I mean, she doesn't mean to do it, but she does. And then gets sucked into their magical war. She goes to their magical city and she finds out she has some powers as well. And we just follow her and a couple of other main characters that she meets. And then this expanding world of this fantasy novel. It was awesome. So I completed this, like I said, I hauled it in July, finished it at the beginning of August. I buddy read it with Lindsay from Lindsay's Book Life. Fabulous book, beautiful cover. Very highly recommend if you like fantasy. This book is amazing. The other 2 books that I brought in are also genre fiction. This is a romance, Edenbrook by Julianne Donaldson. I'm currently reading this one. I'm on page 72. This is a Regency romance where the young woman on the cover here, Marianne, goes to a manor house to meet up with her twin sister, and romance ensues with the young man that lives on the estate. There's a highwayman involved. There's like all sorts of amusing and charming things that are happening. This is very a sweet romance so far, no explicit stuff at all. So we'll see. It says on the cover that it's a proper romance, so we'll see if it continues to be proper. But I'm finding it very delightful and charming right now, and I am reading this with my romance buddies, Doris and Katie. Although Katie's had to drop out because of the awful after effects of the hurricane that just blew through New Jersey. And Katie, I hope that your power is back on by now. And then the last book that I read, the last book that I'm hauling for the month of July, this is book 3. This is Mouse and Dragon by Sharon Lee and Steve Miller. This is, again, in the Liaden science fictional universe. Sharon Lee and Steve Miller are main authors, and I really love their Liaden universe science fiction series. These books are sort of loosely interconnected. They all take place in the same universe, but they're not necessarily like in a chronological order. And I have been, Paperback Swap, if none of you have used Paperback Swap, is an online book site that you can swap used books for credits. It's not, money does not get exchanged. And I've had this book and the book that I hauled last month on my wish list on Paperback Swap for like literal years, like maybe 5 or 6 years, like a long time. And now I've got this beautiful brand new copy. I don't even think the spine's been cracked. I don't think this book has been read. So I'm excited for that. So I've been hauling a lot of science fiction lately and not reading very much science fiction. I only read one, I think, in the month of July. So I'm thinking that September might have to be Science Fiction September. Because if you can see right here and down this pile, I got a lot of science fiction and fantasy in here that I'm really excited to get to. So I'm thinking that might be my theme for the month of September. So anyway, that wraps it up for me for the month of July. I hope you all had a fabulous reading month in July, and I will talk to you later.